with Mr. Christopher Harrison, which is right next to Mr. Hardy. Mr. Harrison is not here, but in the meanwhile, if he do come, he'll just join in. We have Mr. Ricky Hardy, we have Miss Melissa Robichaud, and we have Mr. Elroy Broussard. Now, we're going to go ahead and just start off by this is a nonpartisan forum. We're just asking everybody to really do their best. There's no pressure. We have room temperature water and everything like that. And yes, we're going to just move on down. Now, we're going to ask each candidate, starting with Mr. Elroy, to tell us a little something about yourself and what is it that you would like District 1 to know about you.
Well, good evening to the listening audience. Good evening to you, Sister Khadijah, and thank you for hosting this forum. I am Elroy Broussard, which is a candidate for District 1 council seat. I've been married to my high school sweetheart for 51 years. We have 4 beautiful children, Raven, Elroy, Candace, and Ryan, 15 grandchildren, and 3 great-great-grandchildren. I'm retired after 41 years of employment at the All Center Research, and looking forward to doing good things in the community. I've been involved in the community for all of my adult life, and looking for positive changes and to embark on the things that makes us great, which makes us leaders, which makes us good fathers, good steward of our constituents, and work hard to achieve success.
All right. Miss Melissa Robichaud.
Hi everyone. My name is Melissa Matthew Robichaud. I am a lifelong resident of the north side of Lafayette. Pretty much didn't veer off of Moss Street too far. I have 2 beautiful children, both and 6.5 grandchildren, 1 on the way. All of the children have stayed pretty close to home. I have children. I am a small business owner on the north side of Lafayette. I have the hall and a little postage machine company. I've prepared taxes at H&R Block for the last 33 years. So I've been doing a lot of business within this area as well. And also have a little lawn care service. So to say, basically, I'm a hard worker, love to work, love the north side of Lafayette, willing to listen to each and every one of you to try to get y'all diverse perspectives, and just want to see what I can do for my community.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Hardy.
Thank you for allowing me to be here today. Good evening to the listening audience. You all know me. I'm Ricky Hardy. I grew up in Macomb, Truman, neighborhood where I played and went to school. Played ball and graduated from Como High School after redistricting. After school, I graduated from Southwest Paralegal College with an associate degree. I'm married to Marie Celestine, with 2 of us raising our beautiful family. You all know what I'm all about, that I don't play. The current state of our city government cries out for transparency, accountability. In the wake of allegations of corruption, theft, lies, investigation, lawsuits, audit, mismanagement, and just outright BS. As your District 1 City Council, I will work to restore transparency, accountability to our city parish administration and fulfill the needs of District 1. Don't vote for what you know, vote for who you know. I will get the job done. You can count on me to work hard for you. And if you are there in support of me, I will rise to the occasion and do my best, as I have always did for 13 years on the Lafayette Parish School Board, 4 years in the House of Representatives, 4 years on the Louisiana State Pardon and Parole Board, in addition to that currently serving in Housing Authority as we speak today. So I'm asking you for your vote on October 14th, number 117 on your ballot. Thank you kindly. I appreciate you.
All right. As you can see, we flowing right with everything. Now, starting with you, Mr. Elroy, and each of the questions is going to be for each of the candidates. Based on a story in the news last week concerning a shortage of affordable housing, do you think adding a home ownership component to affordable housing would be good? If so, why?
Well, you know, when we say affordable housing, I sort of shy away from the words affordable housing, but rather use the word quality housing.
Oh,
And it is a difference. There is a difference. When you're looking for ownership of a home, that's a great investment. And you want that for, what's the norm, 30 years, and you want to stay there for 30 years. It's okay to have a starter home if you get your feet on the ground and want to move on after that, but you want to invest in something that you can leave for your children. So it has to be something of quality, and we have fallen short over the years for the quality home that we desire. And it attracts the working class people in the neighborhood. And if we're going to grow the north side of town, we need quality homes. And there is a difference between the two. So I do feel we need a working piece to say what a quality home is and what an affordable home is, because there's two different spectrums.
all right. Miss Melissa Robichaud, based on a story in the news last week concerning a shortage of affordable housing, do you think adding a home ownership component to affordable housing would be good? If so, why?
And I'm going to have to agree with affordable housing. Unfortunately, in this time right now, the cost of supplies, the mortgage interest rates, the cost of building, everything has, it's cost of insurances, property taxes. I'm not sure if there is such a thing as affordable housing, but somehow we need to look into how can we get people into housing, whether it's by some type of assistant, whether it's a first-time home buyers, whether it's even making an inventory of our current city and city actual homes to where we can put this into play. And then as I go a little step further, even going as far as for weatherization. So maybe if the housing is a little bit more expensive, by cutting down energy, whether it's by actually adding insulation or energy efficient appliances, they may be able to afford a little bit more due to that currency.
Okay, Mr. Hardy,
Yes, ma'am.
based on a story in the news last week concerning a shortage of affordable housing, do you think adding a home ownership component to affordable housing would be good? If so, why?
Excellent question. Absolutely, affordable housing would be good for people that could afford within their budget. You must always remember that when you talk about affordable housing or quality of housing, it is identical because of the fact that it's under the building code. And the quality of the material in which they're going to be used have to be met with the specific and specification of the building codes of the city of Lafayette. So it's not going to be like you building a house that's not going to be within the codes and the guidelines with the city ordinance, because those have to be met. And I'm rising support of that, and I believe that we want to be able to have affordable housing so we could keep young, energetic, and progressive young people in our community and be able to teach them and be able to mold them to become our future leaders for the next generation. Thank you for the question.
All right, and now we're gonna go to Miss Melissa. I noticed y'all don't have y'all numbers. Everyone do have their...
We do have a number, yes.
Okay, we do. I wish I'd have known.
I gave my number to the audience earlier, 117.
Okay, all right. I would have them just write it on the cards, your numbers, because that's something that's going to be staying. Okay, that's
I
an
think I got
idea.
this.
Yes, indeed.
Action.
Yes, indeed. That's good. So, as Ms. Melissa, have you ever been a part of forming partnership or coalitions? If so, explain.
No, being new in the political sector, probably haven't done a lot on the outside. I have been a part of like a CASA, which is having the voice for foster kids and trying to represent their safety. But as far as for an actual coalition or anything, new into the politics and hoping to be able to win or lose, be able to take this a little bit further and keep going into the community.
Yes, yes, Mr. Hardy, have you ever been part of forming a partnership or coalition? If so, explain.
Coalition in terms of being able to work with people of
Yes.
different delegation. Yes, I was a part of the Acadiana delegation when I was a member of the Louisiana House of Representatives. I also was a member of the Louisiana Legislative Black Caucus, also a member of the Louisiana School Board Association. So I was able to build relationship with people throughout the state, throughout the United States when I became a legislator, because I met people from all walks of life, and also interacting with people with the Louisiana State Pardon and Parole Board. When we would go in committee, I would be able to go to conference, I would be able to get the communication and always be able to network with them for a better term, and just see what's feasible and what is best solutions for what we have, mimic what they have dealt with in their metropolitan cities such as Chicago, New York, bigger cities, because everything manifests from New York coming on down to Louisiana. So as far as for being able to be a part of the caucus, absolutely, it's a good thing. It's a team building concept. Thank you.
Mr. Elroy, have you ever been a part of forming partnership or coalitions? If so, explain.
I am more close to home, per se. I have been a member of several organizations. One I'm real proud of is the Knights of Peter Cleveland. There's tremendous things in the community. I am president of the school board representative, been a school board representative for 9 years, and I too am part of that. I worked on the Board of Zoning for 12 years. 7 of those years I was chairperson. I was elected to the Democratic Board Executive Committee. I'm the co-founder of LaPES, which is an educational component in Lafayette, whose goal is to bridge the gap between young black men and the rest of the educational system. I've been a coach, I've been a mentor, I work in the church every Thursday. I pick up, I'm a member of the group called Feed My People, where every 3 months we would cook for the sick and shut in. Every Thursday I pick up a load of food basket for over 100 people, and we do that every Thursday. So throughout the years, I've worked hard, worked diligent for my community. I stay local because that's who needed me most.
All right. Mr. Hardy, is a low recidivism rate important to the community? If yes, what would you do to help keep it low?
To reduce your recidivism rate, we all know that education is a passport to tomorrow's future for those who prepare for it. We must be able to implement programs, educational programs, to be able to get those folks that are currently incarcerated, whether it be parish jails, state jails, or state prisons, to be able to get them to receive their high school equivalency if they have not received their high school diploma. After that, then we got to be able to make them employable, to be able to become taxpayers within their community and be able to have an opportunity to work and live a good life and be a productive citizen. So to reduce recidivism, the key component of it is education, and to be able to find affordable, find jobs to be able to meet their needs. Thank you for the question.
Yes, Ms. Melissa, number 119, is a low recidivism rate important to the community? If yes, what would you do to help keep it low?
Honestly, I don't even understand, like, what recidivism, what is that? Is that like to keep people in here, or is it to more on the lines of a
Yes, to keep when they have served their time being incarcerated, then to do things where they would not go back.
to try to keep them from going back into the system.
Right.
Yeah, I'm a strong advisor on giving them tools, education, trying to give them some kind of support, whether it's mental, whether it's the drug, any type of assistance to assist them to be able to come to terms first with what was the reason it got there in the first place, so that we can keep them out of it, out of the residual of keep going back in and out. Strong family support, and if they don't have the family support, maybe community involvement, leaders, church leaders, bringing it back to everyone needs someone to believe in them, and by doing that, and if someone does believe in them, they would be able to, maybe feel accountable so that they can stay out of the system and reentry.
All right. Yes, and Mr. Elroy, is a low recidivism rate important to the community? If yes, what would you do to help keep it low?
What will I do and what have I done to help make that possible? The first thing, prevention is one thing, from not to go there the first time, and wouldn't have to go worried about going the second time. But what I have started as a school board representative, when I first got there, we were trying to teach a 16-year-old how to read on the second grade level. Well, I work hard to reverse that. You keep the young person in school at second and third grade to read at that level before you move on. We've had the social promotion for so many years, and when we get to high school and you're working on the first grade level, second, you've got to be the bullet in the wood. So crime starts from there. Crime and education works against one another. Alamans, the Devil Workshop. So what we're doing now, then we build an alternative school. We had everybody in one place at one time, and from age 6 to 19 in one spot. That wasn't working. So now we've got 2 different campuses, and we're working with, so we can work with the youth more on the individual basis and try to get them back into their home school or where they're supposed to be. We've got some challenges, and we blame it at time on the parents, but as we all know, some of the parents do the very best they can and they fall short. So we can't put the blame on anyone, but education and opportunities beyond 3 o'clock in the afternoon, which we have lost over the years, they've got nothing to do after 3 o'clock but to commit crime and get into mischief. So I'm a strong supporter of working with the youth to eliminate the crime rate, the prevention. Prevention is the key to that.
All right. Ms. Robichaud, what specifically have you done to enhance the community you live in?
Again, I do a lot of volunteer work, and haven't been in the political field, kind of stayed back on my own for a little bit. I guess mostly my involvement with CASA is probably the biggest thing that I did, just kind of trying to keep their voice for the foster child. I guess doing the work itself, I'm a real big litter person, so I do a lot of walking up and down streets picking up litter, because I'm just not that kind of person, but definitely trying to get more involved, where shame on me, I haven't, and I really feel it's time for me to get back in the community and give back, because I am a blessed individual.
Okay. Mr. Hardy, what specifically have you done to enhance the community you live in?
Thank you. Excellent question. I have a track record. Essential to selection of African American superintendent at Lafayette Parish School System, who has been with the Lafayette Parish School System for nearly 7 years, longest Superintendent James Easton. Secured $10,000 for underprivileged students for school supplies. Instrumental in mandatory uniform for students to make sure we deter bullying. Acquired a $15 million state-of-the-art J. Wallace James in the neighborhood while keeping the name of the school, and also settled a 40-year desegregation court case. In addition to that, as a representative, I also, sex offender registration notification, I increased it to approximately making them put the specific address on the mailbox or on the house so we know where you live. Also expand the drug-free zone from 1,000 feet to 2,000 feet for schools. Statewide uniform grading scale. All student athletes must participate with a C average. I also introduced the Luna McDaniel Act, and also the public display of a noose, making it a crime, because When we talked about Gina 6, Louisiana, there was no statute on the book to be able to prosecute anyone. So with that being said, I was able to pass legislation to deal specifically with anyone that display a noose on public property with the intent to intimidate. So my record speaks for itself. I have experience. When the experience matters, you can count on me. Number 117 on your ballot. Thank you again. Thank you for the question. Excellent.
Mr. Elroy, what specifically have you done to enhance the community you live in?
Over the course of the years, I've coached hundreds of young men and women in the youth athletics. I was president of Northeast Youth Association, president of the Brown Park Youth Association. I am my son and I coach basketball, which with my grandson, and working on our great-grandkids, if I can muster up enough energy to go down there low again. Work with my churches, every church in the community. With the school board, I push for the principals in my area to retain the teachers that they want to teach their class, not just teachers that shoved upon them. I push for leaders in my schools, in my district, to see leaders that look like them, to assure them that success does come in all colors and all sizes. We push for the new school, the new Truman Early Childhood Center, which is $35 million, will be completed by the end of the year. Through my part on the school board, the last 9 years, we've built 5 new schools, renovated just about all of them. We got $1 billion budget, almost $1 billion budget. But more important than that, my work in the community in which I will be representing in the future, is I do a lot of hands-on stuff. Like I said earlier, the program with the Church to Feed My People, the walking the street and working with 100 black men in cleaning the streets. I work with the AKAs. I work with various groups to partner with them to make sure that our community is being taken care of, not just pass around every 2 or 3 years or 4 or 5 years when it's election time, then you become visible. I'm visible every day.
All right, so next we're going to Ms. Robichaud. Ms. Robichaud, how do you feel about minimum wage? If you had the opportunity to vote for minimum wage, how would you feel about increasing minimum wage?
Minimum wage, it's a tough one. I have a small business, so I know that if I had to pay a certain, now minimum, depending on what minimum, I mean, everybody deserves for their work a certain amount of money so that they can physically make it and not get off of assistance. So if you're telling someone to go to work and they make minimum wage, but then you may pull off other services that they may have, now they're overqualified or can't get due to the income, it's tough for someone to make. So I would have to say I'd be one to increase the minimum wage to a standard of living, that they're able to actually provide for their family. Unfortunately, with everything going up, it needs that extra boost, and it would keep good quality people here. So if you can pay someone a little bit higher wage and they do the good job, they may be able to keep moving up the ladder, but it'll keep our children and everyone here, especially ones on the lower income spectrum.
Okay, Mr. Hardy, how do you feel about minimum wage? Do you support it or you don't?
I strongly support minimum wage. I strongly support it. It has been an ongoing issue in many, many states. I believe that if you want to be able to have good employees, you have to pay them a good salary. The people at the top who making $100,000 and better and more, what is it to pay someone $10 an hour? That's not hard. At the end of the day, those are the same people who are going to put money back into the community by going to the grocery store, local grocery stores, riding public transportation, and struggling every day. So they should be able to get $10 an hour, because that will give them some incentive to be able to work hard and probably get a part-time job and see the fruits of their labor and be able to vision being a homeowner instead of keeping them in poverty. Absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Elroy, how do you feel about minimum wage? Do you support it or you don't?
Yes. I certainly support the increase in minimum wage. You know, when I was employed, I would talk to some of my co-workers and pretty much get upset because they didn't have hospitalization insurance for their family. And just coming into the workforce, I did not understand how expensive health care was. But when you make it a decent salary, you don't really feel that. And they would tell me they don't make enough to pay the $400 or $500 a month it takes for the dental care and the hospitalization, and I come to understand that. But while we increase in minimum wage, and I don't know what is a living salary, it's $10, $15, $20 an hour, we've got to be mindful that if I, as an employee, pay you $20 an hour, well, that loaf of bread that you're paying for now for $3 is going to become $5. So raising the minimum wage is great, but we've got to make sure that the products that we're buying now doesn't increase 3 or 4 times as much as your salary. So it comes out to the same thing. My first job was $1.60 an hour. Gas was 30 cents a gallon. You know, and since then, minimum wage, I don't know what minimum wage is, $70 an hour, and we still, some of us still no better off now than we were back then. So raising the minimum wage is great, but we got to make sure the products that we're purchasing doesn't skyrocket so much that we can't afford it then as we can't afford it now. So it's a playing field that all of us got to come to the table and make sure that the ones that's making the millions and millions of dollars would try to shy away from their profit margin to allow us to live a little bit better.
Okay.
Just to piggyback on raising the minimum wage. We raised the minimum wage. We have not done that yet to the standard that it should be adequate for the people that's working now in poverty. However, we could talk about the elephant in the room. We look at all the funds that was released by the federal government for COVID funds, the money that we got from the government. All the prices have increased now, and we still at the same standstill with the minimum wage as it is now. So to say that minimum wage, the loaf of bread, going to go up to $3, well, let's see if it go up to $3. If it go up to $3, then raise the minimum wage up again. Thank you.
It doesn't balance. It doesn't balance. If you raise the minimum wage up, if you do that with that scenario, if you do that, you're no better off. If you give me $15 an hour and you raise your product up to where it meets that same, you're not doing nothing. You've got to make sure that those who's making the big bucks, you know, if you're making $10 million a year and you raise my salary up to whatever it is, but you're still making $10 a year, that means your price is double. So we're in the same spot. We're in the same spot. We've got to get the big money people to understand that appreciate my quality of living. You know, it's not about their pocket all the time.
All right, Mr. Hardy, number 117, would you help a person involved in the criminal justice system that needs a second chance in life? If so, how and why?
That is a great question. I believe in second chance. Some people don't believe in second chances, but we must always remember that it ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. When you on the side of the offender that's asking for the second chance, you want a second chance, but you don't want to afford that person who's asking now for a second chance. Absolutely. I believe in working with people who wants to be able to turn the corner and change their life. I had an offender that came out of prison. I was able to get him a job in Lake Charles, Louisiana. His name is Tony Falk. making $27 an hour. He did extremely well. After COVID came by, he hit rock bottom again. He back with me again. However, I had to tell him, I have to cut you off now because I've gave you time and chances. We got to help somebody else because obvious, I done gave you more than 2 chances. I gave you abundance of chances. But neither here nor there, he understood that and he was appreciative. But far as for second chances, I would do everything in my power as your city council member once I'm elected to this office to be able to send out a stationary letterhead with my name on it to be able to help you, and I support you because of the fact that I want to see you be able to feed your family and work and pay taxes. Thank you for the question.
Ms. Robichaud, number 119.
Can you repeat the question?
Would you help a person involved in the criminal justice system that needs a second chance in life? If so, how and why?
Absolutely. I mean, everybody deserves a second chance. Again, I think it just goes back to try to catching it preventative, trying to give our youths and our children and our kids every opportunity in school, whether it's through internships in school to where they feel like maybe they can earn a little bit of money in high school and learn a trade to where when that trade goes into a bigger and better job. Because we push college a lot, I mean, but trades are phenomenal. You have auto mechanics, you have painters, you have all these people that are plumbers, ACs. These people are making above the minimum, more than an actual college grad. So if we can try to catch the preventative first, but absolutely, everybody deserves a second chance. But just like anything, you earn that second chance as well. So I'm sure in the jails or you can learn, there's programs in there to where they can, when they can get out, to be able to, get a job opportunity. But I believe in second chances.
Yes, Mr. Elroy, would you help a person involved in the criminal justice system that needs a second chance in life? If so, how and why?
Yes, coming from a neighborhood that I come from, there has been some challenges. I've worked with a boot camp up in Pineville for quite some years, trying to reach some young men before they reach adulthood, because you got these little crimes before you reach age 18. Then they slap you on the wrist, send you home to mom and dad. But when you become 18 years old, then you go to jail, for an length of time. But I tried to work with these young men in boot camp in Pineville for quite some years. Some we reached, we didn't reach all of them. We didn't do 100%, but we did a good job, and we turned some of them around. I've worked with Reverend Banks, who gets suits to teach men how to get someone to hire them. You got to be dressed proper, try to speak proper, and the second chance, and teach them how to fill in the application for employment. So there's a lot of things we do in the community that's unknown. We got a lot of people that's doing certain things, but our problem is communication. Several of them are doing this but we don't come together to form the strength that is needed to put us over the hill. We all do individual things, and even in our schools, I go to La Rosa to try to teach or work with the young men that is there, that is 16, 17, 18 years old, and really haven't gotten hold to what life is yet, but somewhere down the line we hope we can reach them. And we all need to work hard to do that. But the bottom line is, and what we try to do is prevent them. If we give something leadership, something to hold on to, something to look forward to, that's why my youth baseball and basketball program was so important, that they had leadership and they had something of value to hold on to. So yes, I do believe in second chance, and I do help a lot of youth, may it be young and old, to come back in the community to be productive citizens.
Yes, and Mr. Hardy, would you have an open door policy when and if you are elected?
Absolutely, yes indeed. I've always believed in being accessible. My number is 337-706-2668. You can call me anytime. A public official with a private number is not a public official. I am your representative. I am the people representative, so I would have a open door policy. Everybody is somebody. Respect is essential. I want you to know that you are important to me. It don't matter what's your status. It don't matter your economic status. It don't matter what your job title is. It don't matter your title. You are a human being, and I respect you, all men and women. So absolutely. Thank you for the question.
Ms. Robichaud, number 119. How do you feel about an open door policy, and would you implement one?
Absolutely. Again, total accessibility. I have a small business off of Gloria Switch Road. You're welcome to walk in anytime. I have my number, 337-326-9893. Call me anytime. If you know me, and you'll know that I pretty much answer a phone almost every time it rings. The kids will say, "Why are you answering?" Several businesses that I've always dealt with. Even if you're a customer of mine from an 8 to 5 job, you can call me after. I have tax people that have my numbers. They call me off tax season, even though I'm not working for H&R Block. And I'm always been extremely accessible, and I've always answered, the calls, the calling, anything you need. I'm usually the one.
Yes. Okay, Mr. Elroy, number 116. How do you feel?
I am easily accessible. I get 25, 30 phone calls a day. And when I get the phone calls, I write down all what the caller asks me to do. And being a school board representative, I not only take the call and listen to them, I go to the school and speak to whoever I need to speak to try to bridge the information gap between that parent and student, maybe the principal or the teacher. So I take every phone call personal, and that is what they elected me to do. I've got an open door policy. My number is 337-354-6941, and those that know me, if I don't answer the phone, that's because you call on my home phone and nobody else is it. But if you leave a message at some point, I'll get to it. But I answer every phone call. Like I said, I get 25, 30 phone calls a day. I'm at the schools on a regular basis, speaking to the principals, the teachers, to try to make sure that the children or the parents or whoever I represent is well represented.
Yes, and I see we have a couple of questions left. I had attended the library forum where they had like maybe about 10, 15 of you all that was there, and it was just so tense in the sense where right when you're getting started good with answering your questions, time was up. And that's the last thing that we want here. So we want you to just feel as comfortable as can be, and your professionalism, let me say this, is really impeccable. We enjoy seeing this. There's no dirty politics. There is nothing. So I really feel really good about this forum, and we'll be asking AOC to please replay it as much as possible. Last question. I have a couple of more related to youth. What youth organization do you belong to, and does your organization have a mentoring component? Mr. Hardy.
A youth organization? No, I do not belong to a youth organization, but I have helped youth throughout my past when I was on the Lafayette Parish School Board, and they became adults. So once I got out of the office of the Lafayette Parish School Board, I did not come in contact with them until I was able to come in contact with them as they became adult. And along the way, they have had some missteps, and I was able to guide them and put them on the right track and work with them. But far as for dealing with any specific youth, no, but I still visit the recreation centers. I still visit the youths in the community and throughout the neighborhoods. And I always had utmost respect for children. because of the fact that they are the future. Never treat a child bad, because that child gonna remember you for the days as long as he or she is living. So I am their friend, and I try to instill and try to make sure that I identify the greatest thing in them and pull that out, because they got potential. If you got potential and you're capable of doing this, that, you can do anything else. Promise you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Ms. Robichaud, number 119, related to youth. What youth organization do you belong to, and does your organization have a mentoring component? You mentioned
CASA. I'm not a CASA rep right now, but originally I was. It's just one of the best organizations as far as there's so many kids in the foster system. There's so many kids that don't have any of their adults in their lives, so they're just kind of thrown into the system. So I got and when my kids got older, I kind of said, well, what am I going to do? And again, kids are our future. They are one of the most important, aspect of this whole. These are the people that are going to be in our politics system in the next years, and so. So CASA has been a real good organization. And again, when my kids were younger, of course, we were always involved in the Brown Park youth. We were coaches, and as my kids, but my kids are a little older now. So, but yes, definitely the CASA, and I'm trying to get back into that, because every child deserves to have that voice.
yes, Mr. Elroy.
Yes, I've been involved with the youth group, still involved with the youth group. Even though your children become young men and young women, they have children, and leadership is so very important. You got to hand down with the tradition that you have taught your kids. Hopefully that they learn enough so they can hand their knowledge down to their kids. But I mentioned earlier, I belong to the Knights of Peter Claver, and we've got a junior branch for young men and young ladies from ages 8 to 18 that we mentor. I've coached with Northeast Youth Association when it was in existence. We moved to Brown Park, and I coached there. I've been coaching for 30, 40 years. Worked with LaPes, the educational component of the city of Lafayette, for the educational system. I belong to a group called Black Men of Prayer. And before the pandemic, we would do groups and invite young men to come in, and we'll speak to them on the quality of life, the leadership. We have done that quite some time through the Black Youth Congress, where they use at St. Thomas More. I still work with Parks and Recreation as far as doing whatever I can to make sure that the youth movement is still in existence. And when I'm elected to the council seat, that I'm going to bring back the traditional Parks and Recreation youth athletic program that we have been absent for so many years. We've gone through the competitive stage of it, and everyone thinks they can leave from the football field as a youth to go be a running back with the Dallas Cowboys. But we've got to make sure that our youth become good citizens, to be good leaders.
Yes.
It's gold. All of us here wanted to be that gifted athlete, but it's not real. But I do work with a lot of young kids, and with the school board, I get to talk to a lot of kids and try to show them the right way, because I grew up in a childish neighborhood and still visit on a regular basis.
Yes, and Mr. Hardy, being on the council, would you support this facility, AOC, when it comes down to funding or expanding AOC?
Most definitely. Most definitely. Why? Because public access to communication is why AOC is here. They are the freedom of the press to be able to bring you the information in your living room live. So I would make sure that I would support AOC and make sure that I would be able to support expanding AOC if that's what AOC wants to do, because it is an essential part of newscasts. Absolutely.
Yes, that's number 117, Mr. Hardy. Ms. Robichaud, being on the council, would you support this facility, AOC, for funding when it's time to refund?
Absolutely. Again, like we were talking before we got on air, if you're saying this platform is a voice for people to speak out to, and then it has so many other components where we're able to take this public access and maybe have open forums, open conversations with our districts, and maybe have it on a regular level of being able to have our voices heard or everybody's voice heard. So absolutely, a platform like this is obviously not found. People don't know about it. So absolutely.
Yes. Mr. Elroy.
Most definitely. And I would not only support it, but I would try to expand it more than what it does now. It's very informative, and I flicked through the channels, so we're not on the schedule. It's not like Khadijah come on at 7:30 every Sunday. We got to pretty much search for it. I would like to see it pretty much on the schedule, so we know that certain programs at a certain time, and one of them come on at 8 o'clock. I'm not going to give them a plug. One of them come on 8 o'clock on Sundays. And I watch that program because it's pretty much as installed. But I would like to see a schedule. I'd like to see it expand more than what it's doing now. It's very informative. I watch it all the time, the different program that's come on. But you've got to search for it sometimes. You're strolling through the channel, and then you stop there and you find out what is being talked about. But to expand it, I would work hard to do that because it's very educational. One of the problems that we've got in our community is lack of communication. This can be the communication aspect that's missing to feed our community knowledge. And it's what we are doing and what we should be doing to enhance our quality of life. So as much as AOC is doing, I would love to see it do more.
Yes, as a matter of fact, I would love to see AOC funding these organizations like these forums and giving our help the extra type of monies that they need when it comes down to putting on this fabulous program. We are just about wrapping it up. We were supposed to have the phone line, but it was voted out at the last minute. But we have like maybe about 10 minutes. Starting with you, Mr. Hardy, what one issue is more important to you? What's the issue that's to your heart more important to you?
Certainly, deconsolidation. Letting it be the city where we can have our own mayor. Again, also, in addition, having the city council with its own attorney. You can't have an attorney that's representing the administration, and when the council having a conflict with the administration, then and only then you're going to use the same lawyer that the administrator hired to represent the administration, and you're going to give the opinion to the council. That's insane. That's ludicrous at best. One thing that I will tell you, though, since I have my time, that I have two lines of communication. If we're going to talk about open communication, if you're going to call my cell phone, I'm going to answer the phone. If you're going to call my house phone, I'm going to answer the phone. That's what I do, answer the phone. Again, don't vote for what you know, vote for who you know. Vote for Ricky Hardy because Ricky Hardy will get the job done. I am honest, integrity, and I have courage. I'm fair, firm, decisive. I want to ask the voters a question when you go to the poll in your mind. Just think of you going to get an open heart surgery performed by your doctor. And the doctor that you're going to see is the doctor with experience. Elect someone with experience. When experience matter, I have over 20 years of public service. Experience matter for your open heart surgery, then I should matter for your to be your representative. Thank you very much for having me here, Sister Khadijah. Thank you, listening audience. I am number 117 on the ballot. Just remember, fair, firm, and decisive, Ricky Hardy for the people. Thank you.
All right, and Miss Melissa Robichaud, number 119. What one issue is more important to you?
Again, I think basically we need to ensure that citizens can easily understand where and how their tax dollars are being spent. We have to build the public trust. We're giving our tax dollars to individuals, and we just want to be able to read it in a term of easy too, not in the long words or the. But so basically, I'm a conservative. I believe in fiscal responsibility and efficiency. And we just really need, again, public trust. Our people, our local businesses is something I hold dear in my heart. If we don't have these local businesses, if we don't support these local businesses, that's where people can kind of get out of that minimum wage area, trying to get them on their feet. So people, children, we have to invest in our children, and we have to invest in our small local businesses.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Melinda, number 119. Mr. Elrod, number 116.
Thank you, and thank you for hosting this, Khadijah. We certainly appreciate it. One of the many things that I would tackle once I'm elected is the crime. We have got a somewhat of a control over the educational part of this side of town of Lafayette. Made quite a few changes, but crime is one of the major problems that prevent the north side from growing. We talked about the infrastructure, but until we start doing something of quality, we would never attract the businesses because we don't have the quality homes that I talked about earlier. We've got homes, and because we're on the north side, some of our homes are falling apart. The blighted property needs to be addressed. We need to take care of that. But even the blighted property, the people next door does not own the property because it all becomes rental property. So we got to have a strong way of doing things as far as cleaning up our area. So crime and education is the main thing. We've got to do, we ain't worry about the other side of town right now. We have got to do better on this side of town. You know, why do we have this over there, this? We've got to do us. We've got to make sure that our quality of life is upgraded. Our standard of life is upgraded. Our educational system is upgraded. We want to be able to go to any school in the parish of Lafayette, get the same education. Don't have to run across town because a book is a book. So we've got to be treated fairly, and we got to understand the needs of the north side versus the south side.
Yeah.
So I'm number 116. I've got experience. Check my record. I've got experience. I got experience of being productive and being successful.
And in closing, you each have a minute and a half. And the last question, and I want to thank y'all for your professionalism and the respect that you have for each other. I was told to just stick to the script. My husband in there, just stick to the script. Don't you go off of the script. But in closing, why should the viewers vote for you? And just in 1 minute and a half, just please tell us why should they vote for you. Starting with you, Mr. Hardy.
If I tell you it's Easter, dye your eggs. If I tell you they got some cheese on the moon, bring you some crackers. I am honest. I will bring integrity, and I will bring courage, which I'm unafraid. I will stand up during the challenge. I will answer the call. I am currently your city council. I am seeking to be your city council. I am confident. My experience matter. I spoke on many issues. We talk about crime, but then that's just gaslighting on one end, because there was a police officer who specifically said they wanted to go pop off a couple of rounds in the Truman area. I didn't see the person who talked about crime speak on it because of the fact that obviously you're part of if you're not a part of the solution, you're part of the problem.